Guten Morgen. It is morning.
Yes.
In South Africa, good time for a beer.
Ooh.
For a lovely fat tyre.
Yeah, we watched the Aussies get. What's a nice way to put it?
Well, they got smashed.
Yeah, let's call it smashed.
But it was 38-21.
What's supposed to be the gold standard in very exciting and good rugby.
Mm-hmm.
We watched this morning.
Yes.
It was an absolute hammering.
Yeah. Yes and no. I mean, Australia scored 3 tries.
3 tries, yeah.
38. They managed to score 21 points against the best team in the world.
Whoa.
By
Who's the best team in the world?
generally. We'll have to see.
We'll have to see. We're going to see in the next month.
Yeah. So I thought, originally I thought, yes, they throw the ball around nilly-willy quite a bit, especially Australia. And there were 2 specific things that caught my attention. One, New Zealand got tackled out, and I think it was Anton Leonard-Brown, one of the players, literally just threw the ball, and he threw it forward.
Yeah. Down the right wing.
To the opposition, down the right wing. I mean, if you do that against a top quality team, not that Australia is that bad, but I mean, you might get punished for that by just literally throwing it away. Yeah. And the same happened when the Australian number 8 just threw it straight up into the air, and it was intercepted by New Zealand. They later on conceded another intercept try. Lots of balls rolling along the ground. I'll never say that we would just walk over New Zealand or anything like that, but I'm not sure if, when it comes to real tight test rugby, if this can be their game plan for Australia or New Zealand. I don't know what you think.
One thing I was wondering about, so we haven't played on like a hard surface in a while. What has it been since 2019 when we played against Australia at Ellis Park?
Yes.
It looks like fair conditions there.
Yeah.
I don't know what the surface is like when it's like that. If it's a very fast pitch,
yes,
maybe that's how we're going to have to play. I don't know though. I don't like it's hard. It's
we
hard
won't
to gauge.
Change our game plan.
I don't think we will, but perhaps what they were doing was playing what's in front of them.
Yeah. Look, I think a lot of this talk in the press and stuff is because New Zealand would want us to try and play like that.
Absolutely, it's like sevens rugby.
Yes, they would want us to try and play like that, and to be honest, we cannot play like we can't beat them at their own game. We will have to play the way that we play and play to our strengths.
Maybe on the Highveld in June.
Yeah.
Not
even. I think we can get there, but I don't think we're there yet where we can play that style of rugby. Even though our Currie Cup teams play like that, but our Currie Cup teams concede a lot of points.
I mean, we saw now with the semi between the Bulls and Province. What was it? 6 tries to 5 or 6 tries to 4.
48-31. Yeah.
I mean,
Okay. There were a few incidents that I lifted out. One was that when Semi Karevi, he was over the ball. There was no one bound on him. And I'm not sure if you can call that a ruck.
Yeah.
If no one is bound on him, and there was an Australian player lying on the ground, and he picked the ball up and he ran straight through.
It's almost like open play, isn't it?
Yes. If there's no one bound on him, it's not a ruck.
Yeah.
It
was an Aussie ref.
I'm not sure where he's from. Yeah. But I thought that was a strange call. I don't think it would have been a try in any case because Gorabite crawled when he got to the line.
Did you think that it was a crawl though?
Yes, he definitely pushed off his knees.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was a bit of a stumble. So it was also open to interpretation, maybe.
Yes, they said it looked like he had a bit of momentum, but in the slow-mo you could definitely see him pushing off his knees, and then that's not allowed.
But the point is, it's debatable.
It's debatable. So it could have gone. Yeah.
If the call had been on-field decision is try, and they hadn't made that call at that supposed ruck,
yes,
it could have been a try.
He didn't really learn from it because he crawled 3 times after that.
It,
yes, and what could have been a try was also another call, and then he did it in open play as well, which is things in very tight test matches. It's these things that turn a game.
Yes, everything's on those small margins.
Yes, and both these teams sort of aren't preparing themselves well for a proper test match, for a proper arm wrestle with the way they play. And like you said, it looks like New Zealand and Australia just play what they see in front of them, and there's no actual tactical game plan. Yeah.
So whether that's good, I mean, some people say like you want your players to be intelligent to think for themselves.
It's the way New Zealand's always played.
Yeah.
Their whole plan is based on skill set. But they haven't really been challenged recently with that style of play.
Has it been Fiji, Tonga, Australia? Australia almost lost to France.
So the last time
second France team.
Yeah.
You know.
The last time someone really challenged that game, that style of play was England in the World Cup. And before that it was 2018 when we beat them.
Yeah. And everyone loves to everyone criticizes us, but I don't think England didn't have this expansive game plan against them in the World Cup.
Just had much
they
better
basics. One
Yeah.
try and 4 penalties.
Yes.
I mean,
they were just better at the basics, and the set piece wasn't very good today either. The scrums were lots of collapsed scrums.
Australia was winning scrum penalties. That tells you something.
And the lineouts weren't. It looked like the lineouts were very loose as well. So I don't think New Zealand only playing against these teams, they're doing themselves any favours. They've got a lot of work ahead of themselves for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But like I say, I'm going to say it many times, I'm not suggesting that we're just going to run over them or anything like that.
Yeah, I think the counter argument to that would be the New Zealanders will say, well, you only really played against Northern Hemisphere teams under like hectic COVID conditions.
Yes.
Some people will say that worked against us.
Yeah.
And some people will say that worked in our favour.
Yes.
So it's actually hard to know what's going to end.
We're just going to have to wait for the match.
Yeah, it's so exciting
for the game against New Zealand. But you're playing Australia first, so wait for the game against Australia to see where we are really.
I saw they played in Perth this morning. Is the whole thing going to be in Perth?
No, now they're moving to Queensland.
Okay.
They're playing at several venues in Queensland. Everything's being played in Queensland.
Yeah, because their COVID regulations are a bit looser there or something.
Yes,
like that.
the reason why this carried on in Perth is because the Western Australian Rugby Union were banking on money that they were going to make from this match.
Yeah.
So they tried to keep it there.
And also they were obviously they're getting some sort of sponsorship from UEFA. Because did you hear the Aussie commentators start talking about
Stan Sport? I don't even know what Stan Sport is.
Stan Sport, I think, is
like
the
pay-per-view thing or something.
I'm
not sure what it is.
Whoever that is, they keep blocking whenever we put like
a video.
When we use like footage of a game, they we get a copyright, even though it's not copyright. We just reporting.
I forgot my powder at home. Okay, so we just have to mention the Geordie Barrett incident.
Yeah.
I think, in my opinion, you might have a different view on it, but I just think he saw the oncoming player and it was an instinctive reaction.
Yes, that's exactly what I said. No, we're on the same wavelength.
Okay.
He instinctively put out his foot, but it's still dangerous.
Just to protect himself, and it doesn't matter. It's the same thing.
It's still dangerous.
Yeah, you're still kicking a guy in the
face. For
face.
instance, these guys that accidentally tip tackle the guys, it's the same thing. You can't.
You don't land on both feet by doing that. No. If you want to land on your feet, it was instinctive. He saw him coming. It wasn't on
purpose. We agree.
And he just wanted to sort of protect himself.
Yeah, it wasn't on purpose. He just did it.
But the result is the same.
It's the same thing.
It's like not protecting the oncoming player when you jump for the ball.
Yeah.
It comes down to the same thing.
And it was interesting seeing the red card rule.
Yes, 20 minutes.
I thought here comes because I think it last year. No, it was 2 years ago that New Zealand also got a red card against Australia, and Australia went on to win the game. And I thought, here's something like that coming, but
no, then a 20-minute rule. And I think it plays on your mind as well, thinking that it's only 20 minutes, like you have to do something in that 20-minute period.
Yeah, especially for a team like Australia who doesn't play the percentages, who doesn't kick for the sidelines.
No.
They're throwing the ball around. That plays directly into the other team's. You're supposed to try and draw the forwards into a maul or whatever.
It basically comes down to individuals when you play like that. If you are more skillful, bigger, faster, stronger, you cannot win a match.
Yeah.
If you have a different tactic to your opposition and you're trying to outsmart them, then maybe you can win it. But Australia is just doing what New Zealand is doing, and they're not going to win that way.
No.
They could possibly, but it's unlikely because man for man they're weaker.
We try to do that under Heineke Meyer.
Yes.
The All Blacks would come here and they'd be spectacular games.
Yeah.
Because I think we were let's say the 2013, 2014, 2015 Springboks were a better caliber of team than the Australians, barring the Japan loss that we talk about. But they were a better caliber of team, and we did actually manage to beat New Zealand in the one game that we played like that in 2014.
Yes.
But Australia isn't there.
No, they're not there. They could get there, but
I don't
if
know
that's
if
the way they want to play, I don't know if they have enough players.
They don't have enough
quality
players.
and depth.
But on that note, I see that they're changing the 30-game rule. Andy Marinos said there's no ways that they can continue without picking the overseas players.
Yes, no, definitely.
So
Australia has to pick their overseas players.
So maybe that will bring some sort of change.
And then we saw another incident where they had advantaged Australia, and they actually had men over, and they choose to kick, to choose a 50-50 option.
I don't understand that.
And you're basically only going to get 3 points, and you're not. It's the 50-50 option for a try, rather than to put it through the hands and put it through the phases.
There was a massive overlap, it seemed like.
Yeah.
And
Andrew Callaway is not the tallest player either.
No. So they have this idea of ball in hand, and then they do that. It doesn't make sense.
I just wish that we will move away from that as soon as there is advantage, then you kick to the wing, because I think it's silly.
It's silly.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're going to get the 3 points. We all know that advantage lasts forever. So
I almost want to say make it a little tighter.
Yeah.
Imagine you have this big. You've got advantage. Now you do this huge build up of like, let's say 15 phases.
Yes.
If you don't score, then you still go for the 3. But do you know how tiring it's going to be for the defensive team?
Yes, definitely. The defense tires quicker than attacking.
It's just tactically a better idea to keep it with the forwards, tire them down.
This bad decision.
I mean, if you knock the ball on, so be it.
Yes, definitely.
Don't just kick it.
3 points.
And Faf has the tendency to do that.
No, we also do it. That's why I hope we stop. And Elton Yankees also tends to do that. Okay, then there was a moment when Karevi ripped the ball out of Scott Barrett's hands, and they were basically clean through. So first thing I wanted to say, bad ball protection by the All Blacks, which they would have to sharpen up. And there were a few similar cases like that where the ball sort of just spat out. So they'll have to get better at that as well. And then Banks was clean through, and he just chose the wrong option. He just kept on running towards the line instead of slowing down a bit, coming in field, looking for someone,
support,
passing it. Because that try could have changed it a little bit, could have made it a bit.
It's those
closer.
Little things. Like I know they ended up losing by 30 points or 20 points, but those little things create the scoreboard pressure.
Yes. So silly decision, could have been a great try if they didn't make those silly mistakes. And then what we also saw is that McDermott, the scrum half, found so much space around the rucks.
Lots of sniping runs and
and Pieter-Steph du Toit scored like that in the World Cup actually
against them.
So there's if there's one weakness now that I can see now, obviously it can be fixed on the practice field fairly easily by organising your defence. But there's no pillar and post around the rucks regularly. And if the smallest guy on the field for Australia can find space there, then it won't be that difficult for a Dwayne Vermeulen to find space.
He made meters.
Yes, he made lots of meters, and it was mainly through the midfield. So the weakness now, what I see, is through the midfield. There's a lot of space. The pillar and posts just take too long to get into position. But maybe that's because they're playing Australia and they didn't feel the need to focus on that.
Maybe there's no need actually, because they know what's going to. I mean, okay, apart from McDermott, are the Australians are they head like their mindsets? Are they in that mindset of going for a pick and go? They want to fly off
Pete Summer just went straight through, and it took one pass for them to score. And that's weak. I mean, that shouldn't actually happen within the 80 minutes of a test match. And there shouldn't be that much space around the rucks if you're organised. Then there was another handling error by Damien McKenzie from a switch. It was also a weird decision because it came off his hand, and then the commentator said if the ball doesn't touch the ground, then it won't be deemed a knock-on if he regathers it. So he lost the ball and hit his knee and then his foot. And if he managed to regather it, it would have been a try. But you lost the ball. Doesn't matter if it hits your knee or your foot. Unless it's unless you drop it to kick it.
Yeah.
And then it touched...
it's very technical.
It's very technical, yeah. So that was no try, but I just thought that New Zealand would normally score from there, and that wouldn't be a mistake, because there was no pressure on them. It was just a simple inside pass, and it was just bad communication and a bad pass.
They definitely butchered a lot of points as well.
They did. That's what I'm trying to get at, I think, is that there was a lot of points out there that they didn't get.
Just say that then, Hansi.
Yeah, and then they have to look at their backup goal kickers.
Both teams.
Yeah. Two terrible kicks by Barrett and Mackenzie for post. Like not even close.
Yeah,
like completely hooked it.
Is Moanga, he stayed back in New Zealand with what, did he?
No, I think he's just rested. Yeah.
Because I know 3 of their players had a little bit of an injury.
I'm not 100% sure why.
But it's not that they're not going to play at all. It's just, if I understood correctly, they're going to come later.
And if you think of it, Mahanga is better than Bowden at the moment.
He's gone past
Bowden Barrett. I actually think that they've broken down his confidence.
Yeah.
And that he's lost that belief.
It was 2018 that broke it for him. 2018 against the Springboks, where he missed all those kicks. New Zealand should have won the game.
And he doesn't know where he fits into the squad.
Yeah, he doesn't know if he's a fullback.
Yeah, all of that.
Yeah, so let's quickly recap what the Springboks need to do to win the game. If we look at Australia, what Australia should have done was play like the Springboks in terms of a tighter game.
Yeah.
Play territory, mauls, etc.
Definitely. Slowed it down.
They needed a kicker.
Yeah, and you want to scrum.
Yes.
If you've got the ascendancy in the scrum, you must want to scrum.
The number of intercepts.
Yeah. What's with this quick tap thing? Where did all this quick tap thing come from? Everyone's taking quick taps.
Yeah.
I mean, we would definitely scrum.
Yes, definitely scrum there.
You know.
But the intercept thing, what it tells you is that there's just like they're just throwing the ball around.
Yes.
And we must not do that.
No, definitely not. No, we can't fall into the trap. Don't listen to the press. Don't do what everyone's telling you to do. Stick to what we do.
I don't think we will.
And I can tell you that there are going to be a lot of box kicks by New Zealand. They're going to adapt their game plan.
Yes.
I will eat my words if they don't. Yeah. But you are going to see box kicks from Aaron Smith, most definitely.
Yes, and kicks at goal.
No, definitely. They're going to do all that stuff. Yeah. They're going to play a proper arm wrestle test match. It's going to look like the Lions. Yeah. Maybe not exactly like that.
Maybe a little bit more loose.
No, they will be expansive. They will, as soon as the ball is loose, they will trust their skills.
If there's a break, then they'll go.
And that's how they will win the game. But we are hoping for a good, proper test match.
Our cover defense will need to be better than Australia's has. Anyway, but we're talking about Australia specifically, and I think...
Yeah, sorry, we're talking a lot about New Zealand as well. But what we need to do is a lot of our players have been exposed to a lot of pressure by the Lions. And a lot of these Australians have never faced that amount of pressure. There's a lot of new guys in there that they've played the All Blacks, but they haven't been exposed to like proper arm wrestle, hardcore test rugby.
And that's why they struggled against the second team France. France B team.
Yeah, because they're used to the wet conditions. They're
busy playing this throw the ball around game against in the Bledisloe Cup that hasn't been won in like more than a decade or 2 decades.
Yeah. Okay, looking forward to Australia.
Yeah.
And it was an interesting game. It's very interesting to I can't wait to see, because obviously World Rugby is in turmoil. Can't wait to see like the 2 best teams. Let's say that, Australia and New Zealand.
Yes.
Can't wait to see how we do against them. And then, of course, Australia, they've got a good skill set.
Yeah. And Neil de Kock was saying that if anyone can break us down, it's Australia. Yeah. They're going to sit and try figure it out.
Yeah. Dave Rennie's a very good coach. He's not an idiot. Yeah. Okay. Cheers.